Welcome to The Culture. We rest at the pulse of the community, providing all things news, music, fashion, events, and everything that we talk about in between. It's a lifestyle. We are The Culture. Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Culture. I'm your host, Jessica Garrett Modkins, and joining us today is the Honorable Commissioner McGhee. Welcome to the show today, sir.
Jessica, thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show, The Culture, and I am excited.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions because, as I know, the service that you are undertaking with District 9 is so important to the residents and the community. And I am honored to be able to bring you on this platform to alert them of all of the great things that you're doing. And I know that everyone is like me. We're following you on social media. We're at your beck and call, reading all of your awesome posts. It looks like you had a lot of fun with those young future leaders. I believe that's how you call them. Your
Yes.
interns who were shadowing you. How did that go?
Listen, the future is right in my presence as we speak. The reality of it is when you have the opportunity to impact the young lives of so many in a way that's effective and very beneficial to the community overall, you can't help but thank God each and every morning. Whenever I get an opportunity to see these young, I call them junior commissioners. It reminds me of that young hungry person of myself in the past, looking for somebody to give me guidance and someone to give me approval and someone to show me the ropes of how life can be a friend or foe. And so the idea of having over, let's just say, 14 of them in my office at any given moment, working on issues such as potholes, national issues, and state issues, it just brings gratitude to your heart. So I love the reality of being there for them, being able to mentor them through the process, but more than anything, to be in their presence. It's just more of an honor to me to be in their presence than they really know.
That is great. Such practical experience that is very hard to get. So we applaud you for being able to reach back and being able to pour into them. And you just reminded me of something. This whole NIL, that that is now a thing and
Yes, it is.
not new to you. Can you please let everyone know what this meant? You're laughing
So
because, of course, we didn't talk about this at all. So
it just
it just happened. So bring everyone up to speed with how this collegiate initiative actually
yeah.
had something to do with your office.
Yeah, and great question, Jessica. And as you are aware, Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach, let's just say the entire state of Florida, right? We produce some of the greatest athletes of all time. We have some of the greatest collegiate athletes come out of this county, Monroe County, Broward County, Palm Beach County. And for some reason, when they were able to enter into the universities and the colleges across this great nation, one of the things that was very interesting is the fact that many of them had to struggle. They struggled for food. They struggled just for discretionary income. They struggled, and after having so many talks with so many different athletes, men, women, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, one of the things rang true is that they wanted to do so much more for their families, but they were restricted because the NCAA had a draconian rule for over 100 years where they pretty much had a monopoly on the lives of these young, gifted athletes. So what I thought about, and I said to many of my colleagues, I said, first of all, this is 100% wrong because oftentimes when we're in school and in college and any other form of education, the two things that we're always taught from day one to day two is that this great nation was founded upon two core principles. The first one is democracy. The second one is capitalism. And the two are not the same. And so what was happening was when these young individuals would go to these universities and colleges, they would be taught about capitalism, get a great education, work hard, and you too can enjoy the American dream. And what I found is that there was a discrepancy in what they were learning in the classrooms and the real world application. And the application that I'm speaking of is that you had, for instance, in one classroom you can have an NCAA swimmer. at a university or a school or at a college, and that individual was prohibited from receiving monetary value for usage of her or his name or image or likeness. However, there's another student sitting in the same classroom who was an architect student. That person was able to use his or her likeness and image and name to be able to go out and receive extra discretionary income to assist them with helping back home. I found that to be a very disheartening reality. I met with Governor DeSantis. I met with a few of my House colleagues at the time, and I expressed that position with Governor DeSantis's blessings. He stood steadfast with us. He told us that he was 100% with us on this, and that he and those of us in the Florida House at the time, that we were standing on strong and a steady ground. So we pushed forward. I led the charge by filing the legislation that would say to the NCAA, and that actually have said to the NCAA, that so long as these kids provide themselves and make and afford themselves certain credentials and certain parameters, that they too can use their name, their image, and their likeness while they're participating in sports. What came away from that is something that we all envisioned. Is that we have young people now who are able to help their family members. They're able to send money back home to their children and to their community members. They're able to use their image and their likeness now to be able to help some kid or some business out, like the mom and pop businesses we normally have in the South, or the fruit stands that we have in the South, that now they can go and speak on behalf of those fruit stands and those mom and pop stores and get them more business. And so that was one of the biggest moments of my political career, knowing that I led the charge on that. We eventually passed a House bill out of the legislature that was actually then moved over to the Senate, and eventually the governor signed it. So now what you're seeing across this great nation is that young people of all races and all ethnicity and all sports are having an opportunity to be able to be beneficial to them, to their hometowns, day in and day out. And I want to also thank my co-sponsor, Chip LaMarca. He also eventually filed a piece of legislation that actually sought the same relief for our athletes. And the two of us eventually combined our efforts. And this is what we have now, a new thriving environment within our schools and within our colleges. And when I say schools, I mean colleges and universities.
Yes, yes, sir. And that is the same thing that now you're doing as a commissioner. You're listening. You have the roll up your sleeves tour, where once again, you're being able to be there for your constituents to hear exactly what those needs are. Can you tell us about your roll up your sleeves tour?
Thank you, Jessica. And first of all, let me just say thank you for being a great supporter and making sure that it goes off without a hitch. Secondly, let me just say this. I believe that the government that's closest to the people is the most effective form of government. One of the things I found out when I left the state and came here in the county is that there's a lot of bureaucracy in both state, and both county. And I'm not going to talk about the federal bureaucracy, but let's just stick with the state and the county. And one of the things I learned early on is that many of our family members and friends, friends of friends, they just simply want to have an opportunity to live life, protect their family, provide for their families, and make a contribution to the society overall. But what was standing in their way is a bureaucracy, and oftentimes the bureaucracy is addressed in the form of government. Um, Tip O'Neill said that all politics is local, and that's one of the things that I took to heart when I embarked upon becoming county commissioner. And that in and of itself led me to see that listening is an art. It doesn't take much, but it's an art that must be utilized at every position in life. So I decided to take our tour around this district, and we wanted to listen. And that's what we're doing. We're listening to the people. Because I feel, as David Axelrod stated earlier in his book, The Believer, by the way, I'll give that a shameless plug, right? Is that when individuals see the local elected officials, we are the government that they seek, right? Because they can get to us easily. And so, knowing that at each and every step of the way, what I do is I bring government to the people. So normally at these roll up the sleeves event, I'll have the water and sewer department, the transportation department. I'll have HUD there, housing there. Any department that makes sense for that particular geographical area, I will have them there. So as the people come to the microphone and voice their opinions and their concerns, I'm able to say, don't move, don't move. I'm going to have someone right here who's sitting over there to address your issue before you leave this room. What I found is that the appreciation level of individuals, especially ones who love this community and who want to see this community do better, they have found a new respect, a new love, and a new admiration for our government. And they understand now that the best form of government is something that I believed before, and David Axelrod stated in his book, Believer, and that they now know is that the one that's closest to them. And so that's what Roll Up Your Sleeves is all about. It's basically bringing government to the people and that we collaborate. Because oftentimes when you go to these meetings, you hear folk in their frustration. It's not that they're angry. It's not that they're upset. It's just a form of frustration that they somehow have to let out, because when they call the 311 number or they call any government office, it's usually a hold somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes. And usually someone has to transfer them over 2 or 3 times before they can even speak to the person that can really help them. So the easiest thing to do for me is bring government to the people. And that's what Roll Up Your Sleeves is actually all about.
And then you also bring the police department as well. I don't want that, anyone that's watching this to think that the department is exclusive from the police department.
Yeah, and you're absolutely correct. And the police department is a great partner with us. And it usually goes without saying, but you just brought me to the carpet on that. Look, acknowledge credit where credit is due, and you're absolutely correct that even in certain neighborhoods where there are some individuals out there who want to pit community against police and police against community. What I've found is our community policing here in the South, especially in District 9, is awesome. They're there for every event, every march we do, every survivors event that we do to help survivors of gun violence. Whenever we call for assistance, they're always there and they're always one step away. So again, I say thank you to our Miami-Dade County Police Department and all the Miami-Dade County departments that I have not mentioned because due to the time constraints that we have.
Good. I do want to shift a little bit. Well, I'm not really shifting. Peace and prosperity. So huge for this district, and it is a very well-funded initiative. Can you tell us some of the things that you have in store?
Yes, and again, peace and prosperity is an excellent concept, an idea, and also a program that has been implemented by the mayor. So, peace and prosperity is a mayor initiative that she bore out with her team, and from that peace and prosperity is an anti-poverty program that assists individuals in the community with mentoring, with jobs, with activities, etc. What we were able to do was we were able to create, in conjunction with the Peace and Prosperity Plan, the McGhee Safety Net program. And the Safety Net program is essentially we're bringing the neighborhood, we're bringing in our employers, we're bringing in our teams, sports teams, we're bringing in everyone who wants to be part of this safety net. And the safety net is basically partnering with the Peace and Prosperity to bring about the activities in the community that our kids so desperately need, to bring about the jobs that our young adults and older adults desperately need. And this summer, I'm proud to present that we were able to, and we're currently doing it now, is to begin our interns, and I call them our junior commissioners. We were able to start them off at $13.88 an hour to work, and they're getting hands-on experience. And secondly, we have now, we're going to roll out the after-school programs that we're able to bring within the Peace and Prosperity Plan. But another thing that's really huge, Jessica, and you made reference to it earlier, is the reality that, within Peace and Prosperity, there must be protection, which brings us to the third issue of our police. And they have to be a major partner in this role, and they have been a major partner. So we've been able to also partner with the Miami-Dade County Police Department. And through that relationship, we're able to bring in parents, relatives who have been victimized due to no fault of their own by criminals who have nothing better to do but to create more victims. And we've been able to bring them into our office and allow for them to have conversations, private conversations that they wouldn't otherwise be able to have due to the again, the bureaucracies that sometimes create more of a havoc than a benefit to the community overall. So it has been one of the best programs I've seen. The McGhee Safety Net is actually being looked at as one of the better programs that we've seen in quite some time, due to the fact that it is a community-driven program that's beginning from the ground up as opposed to top down. And I have to take my hat and tip my hat off and to the mayor, whose vision is it has gone to be one that's being implemented across different jurisdictions.
Nice. Now, there is something else that you're working on that's very huge for this district, and that is internet access in many of the rural areas. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, Jessica. So I had an opportunity to appear at and participate in one of the National Associations of Counties events up in Washington, D.C., Maryland. In Washington, D.C. and in Maryland. We did a field trip and visit different sites in Washington, D.C., but the conference was actually held in Maryland. And one of the things that I learned or was reinforced was that internet access is not equally distributed to all of us as Americans here. There are individuals within District 9 who live west of Chrome Avenue who are struggling to cut through the red tape in order to get themselves high-speed internet, broadband, access to just simple Wi-Fi. Some of them are still on dial-up. And what I found that was similar to individuals within our district, that there are other individuals in West Virginia, Mississippi, Wyoming. They too are dealing with the same issues. And so what I've been doing is pushing and meeting up with telecom companies to come up with an idea that would allow for our community members to have equality as it relates to access to the internet. We've been able to meet with Figures Communications, and based upon that conversation and based upon that partnership that we're going to roll out very soon, is that Figures Communications will be providing internet access, high-speed internet access to some of our most challenging individuals, our most challenging communities to help with the connection disparity.
Nice. Great company. I'm glad
Yeah.
to know that Figures is a part of that. And then you have a number of different programs that you are implementing for residents. I like the one that is called Senior Aerobics. It looks like fun. I read that you had to be 55 to
Yeah.
participate, and I said, well, I'm not there yet. But it sounds fun. What made you come up with it?
It's a great question. First of all, let me just say you're barred from coming, right? Because you have about 30 more years, and
Okay.
you're barred. You're not coming.
Okay.
You're done. You're done. You can't come. But when you drive through District 9, first of all, right? And this is not to say that other districts don't share what we share here, but you have some very young, energetic spirits, beautiful people, hardworking people, right? And you would never guess their age.
Right.
It's not like they were their age. As a matter of fact, there are some 55-year-old plus who look younger than me, who are more athletic than I am, and who would run circles around me. And one of the things we do in our discussions at roll up your sleeves, and also I give a plug to Pastor Jackson at Second Baptist, is that he brought it up along with some community members, is that, hey man, listen, I see that we're doing A and B, but we want to be part of this too. And one of the things I realized is that as we age, our bodies sometimes may not be able to lift the heavy weights, and it may not be able to take the beating that running or jogging may cause to the joints. But one of the things I realized from Howard University, that during my swim class that he taught me, was that water aerobics is one of the better forms of exercising that can bring forth a new spirit, a new relief, a new energy that we haven't tapped in before. So we were able to partner up with Miami-Dade County Parks, and we brought in an instructor. Miami-Dade County Parks donated the pool. We brought the people. the community bought into it, and now it's filled to capacity. We cannot, unfortunately, right now, at the Richmond Heights pool, Sergeant Delancey Park, we had to turn away a few people because all of a sudden it became huge, and it's going to continuously grow. We just opened up another one at Goose Park, and we're going to begin that August the 2nd. And that too has already gained so much attention that too is going to be a filled to capacity pool. We're rolling out Naranja pool, and we're going to roll out the Homestead pool. We're going to roll out the Florida City pool. So we're going down the line, and we're going to make sure that our I call them our leaders who are 55 and plus. They're going to take care of the opportunities that avail themselves to them, which includes having the aerobics course at the pool.
Nice, nice. And then I understand you have a ribbon cutting ceremony coming up for Larcenia Bullard Plaza. What are some of the things that the community can expect with Bullard Plaza?
First of all, let me just again give a plug to you, to your family, and to your leadership for making sure that this day finally happened, right? Because at the end of the day, we know how government works, and I am one who holds no punches back. It's just as if one of my leaders said before. He said to me that there's equality everywhere, right? And however, when you get to certain neighborhoods, certain zip codes, it appears that it is lessened in those particular neighborhoods. So my job was to, number one, push this thing across the finish line. This is something that Commissioner Moss birthed for the great late Senator Larcenia Bullard, who is without question our leader of the South, who has shown while here on earth that she was not afraid of any fight that would benefit the South, whether she was in the Senate or in the House, or whether she was here helping us individually on the ground level. But she delivered that tenacity, that spirit of excellence that we've all brought into our own lives to move the South forward. So the building is named after her in her honor. We can expect local businesses, mom and pops, as I call them, startups, to occupy that building. There are many offices there. Some are averaging 600 square feet. Some are averaging 800 square feet. We also have an incubator there for companies that are just getting started. We will have opportunities for them to come in and use what we call a little space, shared space, that they can now have an address, a telephone number, where people can come and meet with them, and they'll share that space until they're able to get to where they need to be financially wise and economically wise and business wise as relates to their capacity to survive on their own. So that is going to happen very soon, the ribbon cutting for that. Of course, we had to go through the bureaucracy again in the county, but I'm happy to say today on your show that we were able to pull through. The future is very bright, and what I'm seeing that's going to happen because of the Larcenia Bullard Center for many of the small businesses within our community is just unbelievable as the potential continuously grow.
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner. We appreciate you coming to the show, giving us all of the details on the wonderful things that we have to look forward to. Before we go, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm not coming on your show anymore because your camera looks better than my camera. And for some reason, your camera has a better definition than my camera. And secondly, I just want to say thank you so much for always being on the forefront, leading this community to greater heights. I know your future is bright. I am a big fan. My family's a big fan. And whatever I can do to help you, please, you know where I am, and you know how to reach me, and you know I'm going to be there for you. And to all the Team McGhee supporters and those who want to see this community move forward, you can follow us on social media at Kionne McGhee, or you can just go to KionneMcGhee.com, and we're there to be found. But I thank everyone for allowing myself, along with my family, for being your leader in the Miami-Dade County Commission. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we thank you for being a leader and first a servant, because it is that servant heart that has given you the platform that you have right now. Such an inspiration. Thank you again. And you have an open door to come back and share anything that you have going on or how you want the community to help. And then next time we'll make sure you have a better camera.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
And to the culture family, thank you for joining us. Don't forget, tonight at 6 o'clock, we're right here live on YouTube Live and Facebook Live for another edition of My Two Cents. Grab a drink and set your clock for a good time. Thank you so much for joining us.
The Culture is produced and owned by the Culture Media Group and cannot be reproduced or broadcast without written consent. All rights reserved 2021.